Karen Virtual Creative Katie here, and welcome to my channel Mixed Media Creations. Today we're going to do another of the 12 days of Christmas. Before we do that, take time to subscribe to my channel. Click on the bell and select the option to be notified as soon as I upload a new video. You won't miss any in the series that way. Want to support my channel? Shop through my Amazon links or donate through the PayPal link. Both are in the description box. Today, a mixed media art journal tutorial, Cats for Christmas. So today I'm working on 3 4x4 canvas boards. And I kind of selected a couple colors for each one, but as luck would have it, I deviated a little bit. And this way you're going to see where basically I'm doing the same basic composition using a different color scheme. And that'll give you more ideas about the colors that you can do. So here I have light magenta and Prussian blue. Not a usual color combo, and I'm putting this on fairly thickly. I'm spraying it a little bit because what I'm going to do is use the plastic wrap technique. So I'm just going to spread the plastic wrap on that, make sure I get lots of wrinkles because I want that to add more color and texture. Now I should always paint the backs to begin with, but I lucked out this time because the plastic wrap will protect the surface as I do this. Otherwise I'd have to wait. So now that that's done, I'm just going to set that aside and work on the second canvas. So for this one, I think I'm going to go with Naples yellow, which is one of my favorite yellows. It's a very opaque yellow and kind of muted. And I'm still using that magenta. And I know that the yellow and the pink are going to kind of make a corally color, or at least I'm hoping so. It's kind of an odd color combination, and I struggled a bit later on, but I made it work, so stay tuned. So again, putting it on and pressing the plastic wrap on top, just so you get all those lovely textures. So to make it an interesting background, this is a fairly simple interesting background, but I'm using 2 colors. And you get a third color where they blend, and then I'm using the plastic wrap technique, which is giving it some visual interest as well. So canvas 3, I'm getting out the greens, and this is Hooker's Green, which I love, this deep dark color, and this is Yellow Green, and this one's an Artist's Loft, but you can get it in Liquitex Basics. I just didn't. Putting it on, and I'm trying not to, if you notice, I'm not trying to blend them together too terribly much. I want to see the different tones that are there. Now all these colors, when I mix them, they are near each other on the color wheel, which is why I'm not making gray or brown with them. So I pull off the plastic wrap and I'm drying it, and then I'm just using the plastic wrap as a stamp, and that just adds another layer of texture to it. Be careful that it doesn't pull off paint. You can see the crackles there. I love how the interest that this creates. As you can see, some of the areas got a little white, so stamping on that kind of covers that up a little bit. Backgrounds do not have to be this complicated thing. They can be very effective and simple at the same time. So this is white paint, and I'm stamping, and I have a snowflake stamp. Now this one, there was, I think, 3 or 4 snowflakes in a row. It was a sale bin at Michael's. But if you have any winter ones, in all likelihood you have a small snowflake stamp. So go through your stamps, and I just pulled all the snowflakes out and put them together. And I'm just stamping, and I'm not too careful about getting it perfectly stamped. I like having some parts look more opaque. Here I'm putting some gold ones on just to add a little bit of interest. So variations on something that's the same. So I like how the white is shining through on here, but something about this background is just not quite working for me. I add the gold, but it's really not doing anything. So I end up kind of wiping that off and restamping, trying to get a little bit more paint on. And then I stamp with a darker color. And this is a darker magenta. And I think this just really brings it all together. There's something that I was lacking before. So don't be afraid to start from scratch. So in this basket, I have a whole bunch of circles that I've cut out of colored paper and gel prints. And I've got 2 different sizes of circles. And I'm just pulling out the circles that I have, trying to see what goes well with the background. So I can go with something that contrasts, which would be across from the color wheel, or I can find something that is analogous, like that one, the pink on the pink and blue background, something that matches. Both are going to go well. And I'm just auditioning the different ones as I go. Now that I kind of have picked out which ones, I'm also going to my stash, and I have all these crazy cats stamped out and cut out, ready to go. And I think I'm good with my, construction. So I'm not much for coloring, and you can color these with whatever way you like, but I like just painting it on with acrylic paint. And again, I usually go for 1 or 2 colors. And the reason I go with 1 or 2 colors, like in the background, is I like the variation that brings. If you just do 1 color, it tends to look very flat, and every brush stroke shows. If you use more than 1 color, and even if it's in the same color family, you tend to not see the brush strokes so much, so it camouflages that, and it adds some interest. So I've chosen to keep these cats kind of natural looking, painting them colors that they would actually appear. For some reason, I can't seem to make purple and pink cats, although I have no problem doing that with the crazy birds. So I don't know what my hang up is there. So that's done. Now this guy, I decide that I don't want to do another gold one or brown one. I decide, I'm going to do kind of black or white and gray. And so I used the black that I had out, and I just thinned it down with water to get gray. And, I guess it would have worked, but what I should have done is put some white there, tinted it with black, and gone with a gray, and it would have been more opaque and not as washed out looking. But I'm just kind of working this as I go. Now these little canvases have magnets on them, but I'm thinking of putting a ribbon on them so they can be used as Christmas ornaments as well. So here I'm doing a little bit of shading, and I have the brown, and I'm just using the float technique to shade. Now, if you haven't mastered this float technique or don't want to try, you can shade using watercolor pencils, Inktense pencils, charcoal pencil, Stabilo All comes in brown as well, or you could be using black. I find that just really makes the features of the cat pop. You put in where you think the shadows might be. A lot of times when people post in my group or in another group and they ask, I'm done, but I think it's missing something. And more times than not, what it's missing is the shading. It's a little thing at the end, but it really adds a lot. So I'm not really happy with this gray cat, and I decide, maybe I'm going to add some, orange stripes to this. In the end, I end up painting him white and shading with black and gray, and as you can see there, and I'm quite happy with the end result. Creating never goes in a straight line. So now it's time to glue everything down, and I'm just putting some gel medium on the back of the what will be Christmas balls, and then on top as well. If you don't have a circle punch, you can just trace a lid that is the right size on a gel print or colored paper, or you could even use colored paper from a magazine. Once you make it in the shape and you put it in here, nobody's going to tell that it was an ad for towels or whatever. So now I'm shading on the inside of the Christmas ball. And again, I want this to look like it's standing out. And it just changes it from being a circle that's glued onto the page to looking more like the ornament. Kind of playing with the idea of turning that one canvas upside down and putting the cat at the bottom. You could play around with the orientation or the composition. So now I'm gluing these down. Now, when I first started art journaling, when I would try to do multiple ATCs at the same time, I always ran into trouble. So if this causes you grief doing multiples, don't do multiples. Do one at a time. Do whatever works best for you. I'm just showing you 3 different color schemes to give you the idea of what they might look like. And to let you know you don't need the exact colors that I have. So I'm using some gold and I'm painting the top of the Christmas ball. And the gold often needs a couple coats and to dry in between. Now I'm giving these a good dry because I'm coming in with my pit pen and I don't want to get wet paint on that because nothing will kill a pit pen faster than that. So now I'm just using that pit pen to add some of the line work back onto the cat that was kind of pushed back because I painted on top. And I'm not trying to be overly precise or exact, but it does make the cat pop. I just love these crazy cats. They've got so much personality. Hopefully you can see every little detail that I'm adding does add something to the finished product. It just makes it more finished looking. And I'm not even, when I'm outlining it, I'm not trying to make these solid lines. They're kind of sketchy. And that way, if you make a mistake, you can't really see it. So I was going to put a highlight on them, but I wasn't feeling it. I wasn't liking how it looked. So I quickly got rid of it. And I was able to do that because there was a coat of gel medium on top from when I glued them on. Then I grabbed my fine liner bottle that has black acrylic paint that has been diluted to the consistency that I like to use. And that's just trial and error. It depends on what paint you use. I use Liquitex Basic, so I diluted it quite a bit. If you use a craft paint, you'll have to add less water. When I've used craft paint, it tends to glob up after a while. So just be warned. And I like how that just frames the little mini canvas / ornament. These could also be put onto a Christmas gift as the Christmas tag. And you could put "to from" on there as well. So I hope you enjoyed this little tutorial. I hope you give it a try. Bye for now. Don't forget to like my video and leave me a comment.